Let's begin. There we go. Hello, my friends. I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Welcome back to another Wealth Wednesday call. Today was a tough one to meet because of Wi-Fi issues and a few other, but we made it happen no matter what. So the way that these calls work is we're just going live in the Utopia over here, and our goal is to answer your business-related questions. So what's going on in your business? Let us know. Do you have an issue on Facebook ads, on any sort of part of your marketing, or do you guys want to strategize about something to implement and don't know what to do next? I want you guys to open up and share what's going on in your businesses, because there's no point of dwelling upon the same problem for so long. This is all about collective progression over here. So anyone at all, do you guys have any questions? Go for it.
I'm kind of like in like a slump right now with declining revenue since May. My primary source of revenue is Facebook ads. I'm pretty much self-taught on them.
Nice.
But recently I've been having like issues as far as like changes regarding of course Apple's privacy update and how it affects like audiences, retargeting, and I mean my like older campaigns that were giving me $5, $6 a purchase are now giving me like $12, $13 a purchase. As far as CPMs, I'd say the CPMs went down a lot. I mean, they were crazy high once like that update first came out, but they're starting to settle down. But I just want to know like how is everyone strategizing for this update, and how are you guys like kind of organizing your audiences, and like what's working for you guys right now?
Yo, Vinny, I think that would be an amazing question for you because we were just talking about that.
Yeah, for sure, Eric. So one thing that I've been focusing on right now a lot is stopping the scroll, right? So going out there and finding great creatives and great hooks that will stop that scroll. That's first and foremost. That's what I look for. And then second is I've been really fine-tuning my positioning and my offer in the market. Because of iOS 14.5 and 15 updates, I feel that we need to get not only more specific with our offer with our audience, but as well as our creatives need to be even more specific than they were before. So those are the two things that I'm really focusing on, three things: very specific creatives, very specific copy, and a specific offer that would tie into my current audience's objections. And of course, maximizing
I have a quick question. For your ad copy, are you testing like different description text per like ad, or are you just kind of keeping one per like ad and then testing another one on a different creative, or like how are you testing copy with different creatives?
Right. So I like to keep one variable testing at a time. So it depends on what stage my audience is at. If it's cold traffic, I usually like to run my top of the funnel copy, which would be more specific for the people who don't know my brand yet, introducing a little bit more to my brand, handling some objections that they already have compared to what I've seen from my past competitors and what they, what it says on Amazon, what it says on YouTube, also trying to use their language as much as possible. So I'm trying to bring in the people. So one example that I have, I currently wrote an ad copy that it's kind of a story, but it's also implementing a lot of text and verbiage that my audience really resonates with. For example, the headline is, "Are you ready to become a POG champ?" My niche is gamers specifically, so I spent a lot of my time on YouTube and Twitch and figuring out what are they saying when people win, POG champ, which is play of the king champion. And so when I test, I like to test one variable. So either I choose one copy and choose two creatives and one audience, and then test that, right? Or I'll test the same copy, and then I'll test different offers and different landing pages with the same creatives.
Another question I had is how many audiences are you putting per ad set?
Sorry guys, just 1 second. My dogs are freaking out.
Okay.
Beautiful. Any other Facebook ad experts in here as well? Rob, I think that might be you. We got Rob Quinn right up there. Nope, if not. If there's anyone else, I know Trevor was saying something in the chat section too. Trevor, you can unmute yourself and speak if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. I mean, regarding like number of ad sets, I don't think there's really like a hard number. I think, you can have, if you really just want to test one, targeting option, just add one. If you want to test multiple against each other, add a few. You know, you can use like CBO to dynamically push budget to each, or you can use ad set to kind of have like a more direct push to each one. That's kind of like my suggestion there.
Eric, I hope that answers everything from your side. Do you have any other questions?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so that was a clean mastermind session right there. Anyone else have any other questions? It could be CRO, Facebook ads, agency questions, whatever it may be.
So I have a question. And this is about trying to get inside the psychology of a prospect when you're going after a new niche. So I recently got into enterprise business development, going after compliance professionals. So people have to make sure that big enterprises like hospitals, Fortune 500 companies, et cetera, are in line with things like HIPAA, cybersecurity best practices. There's a lot more, but I'll keep it simple. So it's a field that I'm not all that familiar with. And while I started doing research on existing products that are out there, really what I want to get after is like get into the mindsets of these people. But I just haven't gotten to the point where I know the best way to find that information. So how would you go about it?
So the way I do this is I follow something for every single new brand I have called the PRP, Pain Resolution Improve. This is my beginning stages that I do for every single brand to start defining angles and understanding the psychology of the actual users. Vinny does something very clever is he starts looking into specific verbiage that the audience is using. But how do we even know what verbiage it is? Well, to do that, you got to understand that the pains that they're feeling so you know where to find these specific people. Because if whatever the specific pain is, you have to define it. You have to write out a resolution for that pain point. That resolution comes from the product that you have and then the proof. What is the proof that that's a legitimate pain? You can make up a pain. And that's what a lot of people in the industry is they come up with pain point ideas that they're like, yeah, this seems like it's a great pain point, but where's the validation? Right? That's the question that we really have to have here is we got to second guess and question ourselves as marketers. We can't just come up and believe what we believe is right over here, or else we're not running with data. And like you said, you're a data guy, so you know the importance of this. So pain points, so PRP, pains, resolutions, and proof is what the structure is. Then from there, you can be able to branch off and look into multiple different directions. From there, you're going to be able to see, okay, if the pain point is X, then I can go with Reddit subreddits for this. You can look at Quora, you can go on different sides of Twitter, different social media accounts that solve those specific pains and see how they're positioning themselves while they solve that pain, right? So for example, you can go on Amazon and look for a specific solution to whatever that specific pain was. And then you're going to look into the description. Well, they have these specific questions that they answered inside of the description. These are the questions that people are asking in the Q&A section at the bottom of the Amazon product page. So it all starts with the PRP, and then from there, you're going to be able to branch out and find multiple different directions to look into.
Yeah, I can agree definitely with Wiz there. He said something about going into a subreddit. Actually, when I started my company, just to expand on what you said, Wiz, is I actually thought that the reason why I built my product was because everybody wanted to win. They wanted the status. So that's why I built my product. But as I dug into my customer psychology, I started to notice really the reason why they play video games is to escape from their everyday lives. And so I started to figure out what are the pain points associated with that. And I started to really dive deep, and I actually had to go against myself and why I started the product in the first place. I even changed my branding because of that as well. So yeah, definitely a good way to look.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Anyone else want to add to that, to the PRP verbiage, anything over here to go deeper into the psychology of our audiences?
Well, for a data point, not a psychology point, but since you guys both brought up subreddits, one thing that I generally notice with subreddits and even Twitter accounts is that the higher quality stuff tends to have between 10 and 50,000 followers. Like once stuff eclipses like the 100,000, and 500,000 mark, the quality tends to really degrade, and it's less about content, more like lowbrow entertainment. So that's probably something to keep in mind because I'm going to take the subreddit approach. But that's just something to keep in mind. Like the places that have some active users, but not a ton, tend to be sources of higher quality content.
For sure. And honestly, with all that in mind, as well as you want to look to the Amazon side of things, anything Amazon, people have already been asking your questions, and look at the lowest reviews on the Amazon related products as well, and see why people didn't like the product. And then because they're going to tell you what they were expecting, and what they were expecting you can put on your product page. And when they're skimming through your actual product page or the site page or whatever it may be, then these people are going to be like, wow, it solves everything that they actually wanted, even pains that they didn't know that they even needed solved. So Amazon would be just a massive power play as well.
So I do have one quick point about Amazon, and I don't want to eat it the whole time. Is Amazon good for enterprise as well? Because I think of Amazon predominantly as B2C.
It is B2C for sure, absolutely. But you will still find a lot of pain points inside of it and questions that a lot of people would be answering that you can, in my opinion, I'm not into the enterprise side of things, but I feel like a lot of the points would be able to be adjusted over for the enterprise side of things if you like zoom out on them entirely, right? They just give you ideas. All psychology and all marketing is, and angle creation is, you find an idea and you expand on it if you have to, but you just need something as a little lead. And once you have that lead, you'll be able to expand on it tremendously. Make sense?
Yes, awesome. I
Beautiful.
appreciate it, Wiz and Vinny.
No problem. Anyone else have any questions about your guys' agencies, strategies, whatever it may be?
Me, I have some questions. Do you hear
What's
me
up,
well?
Roger? Yes, sir.
Me as an agency, I'm right now struggling to get my first client, and I don't know. I think I have been through Utopia and I haven't found any article about getting the first client. I mean, how about you? How, for example, how did you get your first client? That's my question.
Getting your first client is going to be a game of two things. Number one, I recommend always opening up a social media account. In this case, as you know, I'm on Twitter. I recommend Twitter. This is going to be an asset for you to get clients, as many as you want in the long term as well. I can snap my fingers right now and I can close a deal because I have built an asset throughout the past few years. So what I do, and I'm giving you this insider secret right now, is all of my clients right now, you will see on Twitter and posting in the Utopia, is a daily marketing strategy breakdown. Here's a daily strategy breakdown about email marketing, about making Facebook ad creatives, about outreaching. And people give these strategies and they post it on Twitter and they start engaging with other people. That's number one. Number two is going to be cold DM outreach on Instagram or what other social medias that you want to do. So the people who have engaged with your tweets or the people who have engaged with your comments or your likes or your social media posts, DM them, let them know about your offer. And number three would be cold email outreach. It's always the same three things over and over. You can do LinkedIn, you can do Facebook groups, but as a beginner, your sole goal is to work for free in exchange for a testimonial, right? You want 2 to 3 testimonials because when you're doing your outreach in the future, this is going to help you with one, your close ratio, because you'll be able to close a shit ton more people because now all these guys trust you because you've already built results and there's killer testimonials. And number two is your confidence. When you have a new agency, it's worrisome internally. How the hell can you actually deliver these results? You don't know if you could deliver the results. So working for free for 2 or 3 clients is always going to be the move. But this is where a lot of people back out. They back out over here because they're like, why would I work for free for 2 or 3 months? Because people don't want to be held accountable for that time frame, and they want that quick money when an agency is realistically long-term game. So open up a Twitter account, potentially another Instagram account, for example, and send video messages. And you're going to send a video message where you have high energy. You're getting straight to the point. You're going to talk about the case study inside of that DM message as well, and let them know, look, I'm going to work with you absolutely free for your first month in exchange for a testimonial. That's all I ask. And if you like what we're doing, let's continue next month and we'll start a paid package. So they have no barrier of entry, nothing. The barrier of entry in all of the agency cases is, should I pay? I don't want to be paying right away. They don't need to. So that's the power play over there for getting clients.
So you will be suggesting to open an Instagram account and a Twitter account?
Yes, sir. That's exactly.
I was trying to find a first client maybe on Upwork. What do you think?
On Upwork, yeah, you can do it on Upwork, but Upwork is going to take you so long to rank, right? Same with Fiverr, right? That's the problem over there. There's everyone and their mother. My own aunt, 65 years old, is on Fiverr, right? And all of these freelance sites are amazing, but they're very, very difficult to start ranking for. And then you're gonna start getting clients after a month and a half, and that's gonna slowly trickle in. It's gonna take you an entire year to build up what you can build in 3 months with Twitter, in my opinion.
And how do you build a Twitter account? I meant
go to Utopia, message me in Utopia. I'm going to give you a Twitter course that I created for the Utopians only. And then I'll send you both of those courses, follow those exact steps, and you'll know exactly how to build a winning audience.
Thank you, bro.
No problem, my friend. But yeah, agents, yeah, go for it.
Oh, hey, Wiz. So one point I wanted to chime in on. So it related to the free project. So I recently picked up a new client in a new niche that I had no experience with.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So this is lead generation. But it's entirely contingency. So it's like, look, you only pay for the results. So that's one other way that you can essentially take the risk out of it, the same way that doing something would for free, where look, you only pay if you're happy. So that's something where you can still preserve the upside while taking the risk away from the client.
So what he does here is he specifically adds performance-based things into this equation. I don't know what your offer is, Roderick, but what I do is exactly the same thing with email marketing clients. Is they're like, you don't pay us anything, but we'll take a percentage of the revenue that we make you. And that's why it's no barrier of entry. And I know Vinny's talking about the $100 million offers book. That's a power play. I don't know if it's inside that book as well, but speaking about offers, if we can remove the barrier of entry, if there's no barrier in front of the person to actually pay you a hefty amount and they like the results, they'll be paying you way, way, way more.
Yeah, 100%. And if I could, I would like to add a little bit. Roderick, when we started our agency, we actually did a lot of white labeling for a low price for another agency that they would actually sell the clients, and we would actually then do the work for them. Once this happened, what happened with us is actually we grew in our confidence, and then eventually we branched off and did our own thing and then started to charge more and more because our team became more and more experienced. That's something for us, really helped us.
Beautiful. Those are 3 wicked ways that you guys just brought up over there. That's amazing. I hope that answers your questions, Roderick. Does that help out? Just no, maybe so. I believe that's a yes. Okay. Otherwise, I wanna quickly add something over here as well. So my business partner, his name is Colin. You know, we own a Google Ads agency right now. We have dozens of clients, and we're spending about 1.5 mil a month. And one thing he sent me is a recording of an audit. So if you guys own an agency, you guys can also potentially send out an audit, right? Do a live audit call with your clients. But I've noticed, he asked me, he's like, I can't seem to close. They seem so excited on the call, but at the end of the call, it just gets a little awkward and he doesn't know what you're supposed to do over here. So what what I wanted to kind of just say, I literally just did this right before this call. I just watched this presentation. I want to give some feedback of what I noticed over here. What I recommend is if you're going to be on an audit call or any sort of close call, your goal is to remove any sort of objection that the prospect can have before you let them know of any sort of pricing point. The way that you're going to remove the objections is by after you understand what their goals are for the company that they have, then you understand what is holding them back from reaching those goals. You want them to tell you those 2 pieces of information. Then while you're periodically going on the call and asking them any more questions, near the end of the call, you want to ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, I want to work with you right now, 1 being, get the fuck out of my face. Where would you say they are? Where would you say you are right now? Majority of the people would say 7. Like, okay, 7, what would it take you to get to a 10? Then they tell you another objection. Let them tell you their objections. Let them tell you why they don't want to work with you yet, because they're scared and they're worried. And then you hop in and you solve those objections for them. You hop in and you let them know, okay, that's your objection. Here's how we'll solve that for you. And then you're going to ask again, okay, now on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? They'll be like 9. I'm like, okay, what would it take for me to get you to that 10? Then they would tell you, right? Then they would tell you the other objection, you solve that as well. And then once that's done, that's when you're going to actually pitch your pricing point. And when you pitch your pricing point, I have a specific line that I use. So I use the information that they gave me. So let's talk about if we're talking e-commerce or email marketing. We're gonna say, okay, so your brand, Boom by Cindy Joseph, right now wants to be featured on Joe Rogan's podcast. You guys are doing about 10% of your entire revenue coming in from Klaviyo right now, and you guys know that you guys are missing out. And what's holding you back from this entire situation is you guys don't have a proper copywriter. You guys don't have someone who can design the emails and someone who understands emails correctly. So this is holding you guys back and making you guys bleed extra revenue. Then that's where my agency would come in. We would come in and solve problem 1, 2, and 3 that's holding you back from reaching your goals. And here's exactly how we would do it. Does this sound right? We wait for them to speak. They say yes, amazing. So here's how the offer would work. Then we explain the pricing. And once we say the price, we shut up. No one says anything. And as it gets awkward, you sit there on the call and it's awkward for 2 minutes, right? And sometimes they don't speak for a while. And we wait for them to say, whoever speaks first breaks, they lose. Because if they speak first, then you can handle their objection as soon as possible. But if you speak first, you come up with a very desperate vibe. So you want to give that little bit of information to them, let them speak, and then from there you can close accordingly. Make sense? Right, that's just a small little tidbit of information I wanted to share as well on closing. But anyone else have any other questions? Jamie, we have Jonathan, we have Solus.
Yeah, just a quick question, just to give you a quick overview. I'm very new to the space, the e-com space. Basically, I started a small clothing brand about 6 months ago. And the struggles I've been having is with the low budgeting for traffic, seeming to get very low traffic and the conversion rates are low. Is there any advice for, I've messed around with Facebook ads quite a bit, just seeming to be putting money in and no returns. Any advice on whether it go Facebook ads, Google ads, you know, things like that to generate more traffic and try and get conversion rates up as well?
So I personally despise Facebook ads for test and Google ads, and I own an agency. I despise both of them for testing a new product for clothing brands. In my opinion, it's terrible. Your power play over here is to take that same fucking budget and either put it into influencers immediately of people within your niche of nano and micro influencers. And then the other possibility is TikTok. TikTok is a way for people to see the behind the scenes of your company. There's this Instagram and TikTok account right now where this guy has very soothing music, show some rain fall, because that's what their vibe, their brand vibe is about. And then he shows him actually packaging the clothing. And he shows like, he's like, I'm not Amazon. I cannot deliver your clothes the same day, but I can guarantee you that I'm hand packaging and putting the love into every single shirt for you guys. And then he talks about what the message of the specific clothing is about, and then he hands it out, right? Then he actually ships it. And he's getting millions and millions of views from this. So that's something you can do, is show the behind the scenes of organic points of view on TikTok. You can search TikTok and Utopia and get my exact winning strategy. And that would work really bloody well for you, in my opinion. Also, on top of that, it would be really playing around with your offer as well. The only way to stand out in the clothing niche is not by selling cool clothing. Everyone sells cool clothing. Everyone and their mother sells cool clothing. Cash Omar's in this call, and they would knit blankets for us in Pakistan. Everyone could do this, right? It doesn't matter who it is, but you got to stand out from the rest of the people. And the best way to do this is through altruism, in my opinion. So every single piece of clothing, there's a specific percentage that is donated to people, right? Donated to a specific cause that your clothes are about, because people wear an identity. Clothing is an identity. It gets people to show the world who they are without saying a specific word. So that's specific, and everyone's like, let your personality scream through this clothing. That's what everyone's freaking angle is. But if there's a cause, for example, our clothes remind each other that we're here for each other to overcome depression, as just like a little example. And then 10% of every sale goes to a place that's going to help find a cure for depression. I don't know what the fuck it is, right? Something along those lines, but it helps out, right? So altruism's a massive power play over here as well.
Boxer would be a great example for something like that. Like they're selling just candies, but on the name of Japanese culture, they're making a lot of money, because with just normal candy, they're linking the Japanese culture with them, and that's how they're playing with the emotions and making money. So
huge. So he's talking about Keto Crate and Boxer. Those, not Keto Crate, Tokyo Treat and Boxer, right? They both sell Japanese snacks, but they're just snacks in a freaking box. It's Kit Kats and shit in a freaking box, and Coca-Cola, but they position it that these all came from Japan, right? So that little positioning alone, it's not altruism, but it's a very clean positioning and branding that makes it stand up from the rest. So that's a power play. That's a great example. I hope that answers your question, my friend. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, no, of course. I've looked into TikTok a wee bit, but not as much as I should be. But yeah, no, definitely gonna take more of a step into it now. Thanks for that.
Everyone in here, every single person in here, unless you're Rob over there, because I don't think it's gonna be as necessary for you on the B2B side, I mean on the enterprise side. But for everyone else, all of you guys, if you're an e-com brand or freaking agency, hop on TikTok as well on top of Twitter. TikTok right now is basically printing out money. That's all it is. For every person who I know who's actually taking it seriously, there's not a single person out there that I know who has posted consistently who's not making cash and bank off of it. Post 5 times on a weekly basis, record with your phone, not on the TikTok app. Record with your phone, and you're gonna go ahead and upload those clips to your computer. It's gonna have a killer hook. It's going to have a nice body and it's going to have a clean CTA. And then don't follow trends. I know everyone says follow trends, but following trends is not going to get people to buy from you. Those people aren't going to make it's going to make you a little viral, but those people don't buy from you. You want targeted followers. So what you're going to do is going to have that video that follows that structure of hook, body, and CTA. And you guys are going to record your voiceover on your phone, upload it to your computer, and then edit it on Premiere, edit it on Sony Vegas. It doesn't matter what you're editing it on. Edit it really quickly. It should take 20-30 minutes, and then you post it live on TikTok and add the captions via the actual application.
Yeah, and Wiz, to just pile on about TikTok, as I started getting at that from the data point of view, I linked an article in the chat. A few quick points on TikTok. There's over 1.5 billion people on there. There's only 4% of marketers in America that are active TikTok users. And TikTok has now incorporated e-commerce capabilities into the platform. So there's a lot of potential there, and there's not any huge fish. It's still very much a blue ocean.
Absolutely. And the beauty about that is, I think right now YouTube has a 25-hour monthly average watch time. TikTok's is 26 hours. So even Instagram shifting its entire focus to focusing on videos over images now as well, because TikTok has taken the world by storm. These quick videos that have depth to them, but they let people continuously scroll by. People are addicted to this, and it's only the beginning. Because the same thing that happened with Facebook is our parents are on Facebook now, but it started with us and no parents were on it. Then a little older generation came and an older generation. Same thing happened with Twitter. Same thing's happening with TikTok. There are kids. Now there's people 20, 30 years old on TikTok. And in a few months, my parents are going to be on the bloody application as well. And then it's going to be adopted by everyone. But yeah, TikTok ads are performing very well for a few of my friends as well in the e-com sphere, but they're more impulse purchases. Right? These aren't things that are higher ticket, in my opinion, that I've seen. There's a lot of impulse purchases of medium ticket products. That's what I've seen win so far.
So Wiz, content do you recommend on TikTok for agency?
Can you repeat that again?
What kind of content did you recommend to upload to TikTok as an agency?
Oh, I'm gonna shoot me a message right after this, and I'll send you a list of multiple accounts. But the accounts that the content that I recommend is going to be updates. That's something that the Instagram CEO said. A small little strategy that agency owners can use if you're whatever niche that you're in. If you're an e-commerce email marketing agency owner, be like, set up this flow with these exact steps and show them how to do it directly to TikTok. But you got to imagine TikTok and repost on your reels, by the way, on Instagram. But imagine your TikTok as when you read a blog. You guys know the subheadings on a blog that show you the overall steps, and then there's the actual content underneath the blog. The subheading content is the actual TikTok content that you're having on your TikTok video. So for example, here are 6 ways to make money online in 2021. You're just talking about the actual main subheading content, not the description on how to do it, because people on TikTok don't care about that. They just care about the really quick in and out main value that they can get out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hey, Wiz, so one point that I do want to add. So the prospect that I recently picked up is TikTok marketer, and his clients, I'm not going to reveal specifically, but they are white collar. So I had the same mindset that was predominantly for like smaller buys, but actually, for stuff like this, you can get like people that are selling services that are thousands of dollars per sale that are advertising on TikTok. So there's a bit bigger sale potential as well.
Cool. I guess that's coming in. It's someone named Social T Pro. Social TYPRO. He closes multiple clients on a monthly basis for his SEO agency and his TikTok agency. He helps other big brands grow their TikTok accounts. And that is none of those things are cheap, because there's so much demand to grow on TikTok, and there's only a few experts. These guys are probably charging an arm and a freaking leg for this. So it is a power play as well. So I guess a lot of these bigger guys now are closing higher ticket deals. So that could be a good power play for all of us as well. Cool. Anyone else have any final questions? We got Neil here. Neil, I don't think you've asked anything. What's up, Jonathan?
What's up, man? I just have a question, because I heard you talking earlier about for actually getting clients for email marketing by doing an audit. With that, would you do an audit on the call with them, or would you essentially reach out to them and then get into their back end to do an audit?
Amazing question.
Yeah.
So I like doing it live. I like doing it live because I like having my energy there with them. If I record a Loom video or I do it afterwards, It feels kind of forced and scripted. But I like showing them. This is just my opinion because I like putting my energy out there. My energy is a good selling point from my side, but not everyone has that energy that they want to be putting out because it's exhausting for them. But it's totally up to you. Both of them work. Both of them work very well for me. When I do the calls, I have a checklist of things that I look for in a sequential order. I see their overall performance, and I don't say that. I tell them what they're doing right, and I tell them what they're doing wrong. If we only focus on what they're doing wrong, they get defensive. We want to open them up. We want them to feel good. We want them to feel like, okay, we're not here to just criticize you. We want to say what's working, but what's not, and that they're bleeding revenue. That's the key word that I always use is I'm like, you're bleeding extra revenue. It hurts them, but it doesn't make them go into a defensive mode. So yeah, create a checklist of things that you want to check off on the actual audit call if you want to do it live, and then just go through that entire sheet together. And then at the end of the call, summarize what you noticed. Well, campaigns, it looks like you haven't sent out a campaign in 3 weeks, but it looks like your these 3 flows are performing super well, but you're missing out on these 3 flows. And your sign-up form's performing phenomenal, but why don't you have it on mobile? So we talk about that, we summarize it all for them live on the call, and you close them directly through that as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah,
appreciate-
that makes sense. With the so when you're doing this, would you then ask them to essentially get onto their back end? And how would you go about asking that? Or would you do it from what you've seen? Okay, they're missing a pop-up, they could add this in, or that sort of thing.
Oh no, if we're gonna do it beforehand, like not on the live call with them, then we just ask them for analyst access, right? So I don't like doing that via emails, via cold emails. I know a lot of my friends say the same thing, that people are hesitant. Why the hell would someone give you their access for their, right? You know what I mean? Why would someone give you their access? Right? It doesn't make any sense. So, but what you would do is you can hop into a call with those people, but if those people have been nurtured, like you have them from Twitter and they trust you, for example, or another social media, or they trust you from a Facebook group, for example, then you can ask them for analyst access, and then you can just look through it right over there.
Okay, and then otherwise, if you just sort of hop on a call with them, what I've been doing is that I've been sort of creating a list, and then I pretty much see if they have a pop-up, how it works. Are they given a percentage off, or are they given an offer? I look into I go into sort of get an abandoned cart. So I go and, put in all the information and wait for that. As well as when I sign up for their pop-up or whatever, do I get a welcome series? So like what I've done now is I have a list of people, and then pretty much I can go down and say, okay, cool, this person doesn't have a pop-up, they don't have a welcome flow, and they don't have they just have like the generic Shopify one. And so that's sort of how I've done it at the moment. So would that be a better, like a way essentially to audit from what you see on the outside? Like,
no, that would be social media content. I just closed a deal right now for 5.5 US, literally right before this call. And the reason for that was we posted it on Twitter saying, if I was running Google ads for this brand, here's how I would do it. And I was looking at the basics that they were missing on. Did they have branded based keywords? Were they ranking for other strategies that I had when I searched their name up? And they weren't, so I made a thread out of that. You can do the same thing with Klaviyo.
That is sick.
It's a very very clever strategy. The guy was so addicted, cool. And then I got another lead from that same thread as well, right? So you can do the same thing. Be like, if I was running ads for brand X, then tag them on Twitter. Be like, here's exactly what I would do. Well, I noticed that they have a kick-ass pop-up that intrigued me, but on that pop-up they missed out on the welcome flow, which means they're missing out on X% of revenue. Here's how I would structure their welcome flow.
Okay, I get that. So yeah, that's where you can make it into like threads. So every few days you can have like a new thread on a new brand on that.
Exactly. So there's 3 strategies then. There's that strategy right over there. There's going to be the audit where you're live on the call, and then the audit where it's pre-call. Where you get the access pre-call, and then you do an actual live call with them and show them your findings.
Yeah. So I just want to ask again, for when you do it on a live call, would they be walking through, like you'd be going asking them, hey, could you just check your campaigns?
We have Colin here. Let's ask Colin right now. Colin, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. So they're asking right now really quickly about how you do a live call audit. Do you just walk them through everything? Do you have access of the account directly and you're sharing your screen? How do you run through these live calls for an audit?
Got it. Yeah, pretty much what I do. I share my screen with their account. I usually get access beforehand, and then usually 30 minutes to an hour. It does take a while. Just go through everything, but I kind of start off with the settings and look at, what they're tracking as conversions, audiences, attribution, stuff like that. And then after we kind of get a groundwork of, and what I kind of know what they're looking for, after that, we kind of go through the top spending campaigns, where they can improve, just kind of point out, stuff that you would fix right away. Sometimes though, you find people that know what they're doing, and you be honest with them, say, hey, you're doing a great job. I would do this and this, but overall, keep doing what you're doing, scale, pull back, just be honest.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so like literally if they're doing everything pretty well, it's like, okay, good, well done. You actually got everything in place. And then, yeah, okay, that's sick. And then if they have problems, you can sort of point them out and say, hey, you could add in maybe a better welcome flow, or maybe adding on, maybe instead of just one abandoned cart, maybe 2 or 3, or maybe 4, and that sort of thing.
Correct. I mean, for email wise, it might be a little different. I'm talking about, I guess, Google Ads. I didn't know it was email, but yeah, for any audit, right? Like go through the big stuff that you would change.
Yeah.
Right away. And then after that, just be honest. Don't lie to them. Don't recommend stuff that, good. Be a good person.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Otherwise, I think this was a phenomenal strategy-based call. Like, this wasn't just basic stuff. This was a little bit higher level, which I enjoyed a lot. We talked Facebook ads, we talked Google ads, agency stuff, and other exotic marketing strategies. Does anyone else have a final question before we stop this week's call? No, I think we're good. All right, guys, this was absolutely amazing. I'm going to see you guys all next week. Oh, one quick thing. We have challenges starting next week. If you guys have any challenge recommendations that you want me to implement in the Utopia, let me know. We have a 30 days of marketing strategy breakdowns, which means you guys will have to break down a marketing strategy every single day, post it on Twitter. And this is going to help you guys become better marketers. Number one, because you guys are becoming conscious of marketing strategies. And number two, you guys are going to be building a Twitter presence. And the second challenge is going to be 60 days of outreach. So we're going to hold you guys accountable. I want to see who's top. I'm being completely honest. There's a lot of you fuckers in the Utopia right now who are all talk, and it's disappointing. And we want to make sure to see who actually wants to make it and who just wants to just talk on the sidelines. So I have accountability calls weekly. We're gonna have a separate Discord channel. You guys will be a part of it if you guys want to commit. And if you guys commit, there's no going back. We're making sure that you guys are gonna hit these goals. So if you guys have any ideas for other challenges, just hit me up in the DMs of the Utopia. Otherwise, that's basically it. And I'm gonna talk. Yeah.
How do I join to the challenge? I heard about it, but
it's going to go live in the Utopia next week on Monday. I'm going to make a massive post in the Utopia next week. And Rob, I saw your question. Who was the TikTok SEO guy? Shoot me a DM in the Utopia and I'll message you him right away. Okay, cool. All right, take it easy, everyone. Bye-bye. Long live Utopia.
Bye, Wiz. Bye, guys. Good to see you guys.